Hackney Deathbrand was dying. For Goric Windrime, ship's quartermaster, it was unthinkable. His grandfather had served under Hackney 60 years before, and even then he was a legend among the pirates of the north. The King of Ghosts, they called him, as eternal and pitiless. Pitter? The King of Ghosts, they called him, as eternal and pitiless as the sea he sailed. To Goric, who had seen him charge into battle clad in armour of gleaming Skyrim like the kings of old, his twin swords scything men like grass, Hackney was practically a god. But none feared Hackney more than his own crew. They knew his rages, his fits of madness, how he delighted in torture and murder for his own sake. And there were even darker rumours. Some said he fed upon the blood and souls of those he killed to extend his unnatural life. Some thought him a Daedra loosed upon the immortal world. And others said he owed his life and power, his armour and swords, to a pact with Dagon, Prince of Destruction. And the seal of that pact was terrible. No, it wasn't. And the seal of that pact was the terrible wound that scarred his face, never to heal, the Deathbrand, which no man could look upon without flinching. All these things ran through Gorik's mind as he took his place on deck at the head of the crew, exchanging a curt nod with Tharlin, the ship's helmsman and his chief rival. By sundown, he thought one of them would be captain, the other would be dead. When Hackney finally emerged from his cabin, the crew fell silent. He looked frail, his voice raspy. But even so, he had a presence about him. As he looked over his men, the brutal... let's do that again. But even so, he had a presence about him. As he looked over his men, the most brutal murderers ever to ply the northern seas, not one could meet his gaze. At last he sighed. You wish to know who will be my successor, and how my share of the treasure will be divided? That was the question, but even so, there were murmurs of protest. Hackney cut them off. All these years I have looked... My vision's going. All these years I have looked for one who is worthy to take my place, or strong enough to take it from me. Not one of you even comes close. And so none of you shall have it. He extended his hand. In Dagon's name, I place a curse upon my armour and my swords, this ship and all it carries, until the day when one of you can best me in combat, you shall have not a single coin. He looked up at them. Be grateful. I have left you with your lives. Goric and Tharlin shared a single glance. Had anyone else said such a thing, there would have been a mutiny. 100 treasure-mad pirates against one old man. But this was Hackney. The crew was silent. Hackney threw a map at Gorik's... Struggling to pronounce that. Hackney threw a map at Gorik's feet. Gorik, take a longboat and bury my armour in places I have marked. I failed that. Gorik, take a longboat and bury my armour in the places I have marked. Tharlin, we sail to my tomb, where you shall leave me with my gold. Where you shall leave me with my gold. Then burn your ships and do as it... Okay, I'm struggling with this bit. Trying to start again. Hackney threw the map at Gorik's feet. Gorik, take the longboat and bury my armour in the places I have marked. Tharlin, we'll sail to my tomb, where you shall leave me with my gold. Then burn your ships and do as you will. I am your captain no more. And with that he turned and stalked back to his quarters. At daybreak, Gorok took his leave and set out in a longboat with 3 of his men. They landed on a shoal to the north of Solstheim, and the place Hackney had marked, made camp and began to dig. But already greed stirred in Gorok's heart. Time and again he glanced at the iron-bound chest they had brought with them. The old man was gone, perhaps already dead. His orders foolish. That night Gorok pried open the chest and blew out the helm within. The stahlroom shivered in the moonlight. It was time for a new king of ghosts to rise. He placed the helmet on his head, and he screamed. It was said you could hear the scream. It was said you could hear the screaming skill. What? And it was what? And it was said you could. Blah blah blah. Okay. Breathe in. And it was said you could hear that screaming skill. Why can't I say this? And it was said you can hear the screaming still, on moonlight nights, on a rocky shoal off the northern coast of Stalrum.